After a 4-2 homestand for the Seattle Mariners where they could have easily gone 6-0, this is a really big road trip that starts today versus the New York Yankees, one that is pivotal for the rest of the season and could honestly change the outlook of this team. What is it about this road trip, and do the matchups favor the Mariners? We're going to talk about all of that, and also, we're going to be giving away this Teoscar Hernandez autograph baseball. We'll tell you how to win that later on in this video. But what makes this road trip so important for the Mariners, and honestly, it's pretty simple. So the Mariners are going on a really weird East Coast road trip before coming back home. The schedule this year is just really janky, but they're going to face 3 games against the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and then 3 games against the Baltimore Orioles. Now, of course, both of those teams have playoff aspirations, but for the Mariners, they may be catching the New York Yankees at a really good time. In the race for the American League wildcard right now, the Mariners are 3 games back of the New York Yankees, with Baltimore being 5.5 up in that wildcard race. Obviously, with Baltimore at 44-27, they're pretty far ahead of the Mariners at this point, but nonetheless, breaking out a few games here, a few games there, this would be a really good start for the Mariners. And with teams like the Toronto Blue Jays and the Houston Astros really struggling right now, including the Astros losing their last 5, especially since Yordan Alvarez went on the injured list, this is a really good time for the Mariners to make up some ground. In fact, one of the Houston beat reporters, Chandler Rome, said the Astros have lost 5 straight games and 10 of their last 14. They're 6 games out of first place in the American League West. They face Justin Verlander tomorrow at Minute Maid Park, where they are now 20-19 this season. Contrary to popular belief, the Mariners have actually been playing relatively well lately. Obviously, the Marlins series, and then you had the White Sox series. Both of those should have been sweeps and could have been sweeps, but you know, it is what it is. The Mariners could be a little bit closer than they are right now, but that's just not how the cookie crumbled for them. But against 2 of the teams that you are chasing in the American League wildcard, going up against them and coming away with a road trip that you could be proud of, it's going to be really important. I've seen a lot of people talk about this road trip specifically as being the real test for the Mariners to see where they're going to be at for the MLB trade deadline in just over a month. You're just 3 weeks away from the MLB All-Star Game, the traditional end of the first half for all of baseball. You got to be up above 500 when you start getting closer and closer to that trade deadline. Because if you're not, why would the Mariners front office go out and make the big trades to help you make it to the playoffs when you're barely treading water at 500? I think if the Mariners can come away with a split on this road trip, hopefully going 500, I would consider that a win. You come home, you play against a struggling Rays team right now. They're actually kind of falling back to earth, as well as the Washington Nationals, a series which in theory you should sweep. It's very hard to sweep in baseball, but in theory you should sweep that series. You're in a really good spot for the Mariners heading into that All-Star break, because if you're in that All-Star break and you go into it winning like 10 of your last 12 or 13 of your last 15, you're in a really good spot if you're Jerry Dipoto thinking, what kind of moves should we be making right now, especially when all of the baseball world is here in Seattle? And for the Mariners, it's go time now. It is now time to put up or shut up. Obviously, we've talked about, hey, the Mariners, you know, they're better than they were last year at this point, but nonetheless, that does not matter because they're not going to go on another 14-game winning streak. The good news is the position they've put themselves in, they don't have to go on another 14-game winning streak to make it to the playoffs in 2023. But they do need to start stringing some of these wins together. And against these teams, against the Yankees, against the Orioles, that's the real test. If you can just tread water against the other teams in the AL wildcard race with you, then you're going to be in a really good spot. It's not going to be easy, but it is going to be a fun series. Let's check out some of these pitching matchups. As of recording this, the Yankees are 3-7 in their last 10 games. And you're going to be facing Garrett Cole today in the first game of the series. But even then, it's a good time to catch the Yankees when they're struggling. And then you play the Orioles, who are on fire right now at 7-3, but we'll talk more about that later. And honestly, there are some pretty fun pitching matchups in this one. Tonight, we have Garrett Cole for the Yankees going up against George Kirby. The last time the Mariners faced Garrett Cole in New York, I remember Jared Kelenich's home run.
There you go. High drive, right field, Jared Cole. Kelenic with a home run off of Garrett Cole.
And of course, then we got Nicky Scarlota.
The Seattle Mariners.
That was a big series win for the Mariners last year, and going to New York this year could be big again. They have Luis Castillo on the mound in Game 2. I don't think, at the time of recording this anyway, that the Yankees have announced a starter for that game. You may have already seen it by the time this video comes out. And then in Game 3, you have Brian Wu versus Domingo Germán. Obviously, Domingo Germán is a bad person. Mariners have faced Germán already this year, though. In his last start versus the M's, Germán went 6 1/3, giving up 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. That'll be an interesting test for Brian Wu to see how he stacks up in Yankee Stadium. And then in the 3 games versus the Orioles, I haven't seen what the rotation is going to stack up to be during that series, but it's going to be Gilbert, Miller, and Kirby if the Mariners stay in rotation in that 3-game set. So a lot of the young guns going there. To win this autographed Teoscar Hernandez baseball, you will need to be a member on July 1st. It doesn't matter when you become a member, as long as when we check on July 1st, you are a member, you'll be entered in to win this autographed Teoscar Hernandez baseball. It's $2.99 if you click the join button down below, and you'll get some new free exclusive videos just for you, as well as being entered into giveaways throughout the season, and also ticket giveaways as we go throughout the season as well. It's another really cool way for you guys to interact with us. We talk a lot in our private Discord with the members, and I think this is a really fun way for maybe you guys to win a nice Teoscar Hernandez baseball. So make sure to hit that join button down below and become a member of the Mariner Mojovians. But the Orioles have a pretty good pitching staff as well. Of course, Kyle Gibson has been pretty good. Taylor Wells has been good. And this is a really, really good team, obviously. The fact they have 45 wins at this point in the season and are catching up to the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, the Orioles are damn good. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, etc., etc. You're in for a tough battle if you're the pitchers for the Seattle Mariners, especially in that ballpark. But like I said, coming home with hopefully a 500 record, if you can squeeze out an extra win here or there, please, for the love of God, do it. And it's all going to start with this offense. If this offense can get cracking, then the Mariners can finally have a good road trip, come back home, and hopefully take advantage of a struggling Rays team and the Washington Nationals before going back out on the road, because welcome to the 2023 MLB schedule. And Jerry Dipoto made it abundantly clear what that means for the MLB trade deadline. And we have that video linked on the screen now. Go ahead and check that one out. Appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.